As with any chipset releases, motherboard manufacturers are bound to release low-end, mid-range and high-end variants of boards sporting a certain chipset, and the B550 is no exception. Today, we'll be taking a look at the MSI MAG B550 Tomahawk, a full-size ATX motherboard sporting AMD's mid-range B550 chipset. Coming in at a price of around 299 Singapore dollars or around $180 US the last I checked on Newegg as of February 2021, the B550 Tomahawk occupies a price point that places it firmly in the middle of the range of B550 boards that MSI has. The question then is, does it offer a good mix of price and performance given its feature set? Well, there's only one way to find out. Before we begin, special shout out to my friends at Mansa Computers who have kindly loaned me this board for the video. If you're on the lookout for a custom-built PC solution in Singapore, look no further than custom-built PC solutions that they have on offer. Their details can be found in the video description down below. Let's start off with the packaging. Being an offering from MSI's MAG series of products, where I take it MAG stands for MSI Arsenal Gaming, there's this whole militaristic theme going on, which suits the gamer audience that this board is targeted at, I suppose. As with the Gigabyte B550M DS3H video that I've done, do check it out if you haven't already done so. This board does not come with official support for the Ryzen 3 3200G and the Ryzen 5 3400G due to chipset limitations, so do bear that in mind. Moving over to the rear of the box, some key features that stand out include 2.5 gigabit LAN, which is becoming pretty common nowadays, support for the latest PCIe 4.0 standard, a better audio codec in the form of Realtek's ALC1200 chip, and of course, built-in RGB LEDs situated right beneath the chipset heatsink. With that, let's have a look at what MSI has included in the box. Getting the board out of the way for the moment, we see that MSI has included two SATA cables with the packaging. It also comes with a couple of M2 screws for your M2 drives, a MSI Arsenal Gaming case badge in metal which looks pretty nice, a DVD driver disc naturally, a whole bunch of marketing materials, a quick installation guide, and of course you do get your usual motherboard manual. Pretty standard stuff. Let's get cracking with a walkthrough of the board itself. Here we have it, the B550 Tomahawk in its full glory. First impressions, it's a pretty hefty board owing to the heatsinks that MSI has thrown in for good measure for the VRMs. Aesthetics wise, it has a very standard black and grey colour palette that doesn't really stand out much from the offerings available in the market today. The board does come with built-in RGB LEDs positioned right beneath the chipset heatsink right here, so RGB junkies would probably be quite pleased with this inclusion. I must say, given how cool the B550 chip tends to run, the chipset heatsink does seem to be a bit of an overkill due to its size, but it does look pretty good. This being a mid-range board for the B550 chip, MSI has also included heatsinks for the M2 slots right here and here, which look pretty nice too in my opinion. The board comes with 4 DDR4 slots with support for up to 128GB of RAM and the DDR4 5000 Plus standard, which should adequately serve your memory overclocking needs. You'll notice that right next to the RAM slots, MSI has included what it calls Easy Debug LEDs, which allow users to troubleshoot their PCs should the need to do so arise. While nothing beats a good old double-digit debug LED which offers more insight, I suppose, into PC issues, I guess one shouldn't really complain seeing as this isn't supposed to be a high-end motherboard after all. Glossing over the standard 24-pin ATX power connector, it's good to note that MSI has included a front panel USB-C header supporting the USB 3.2 Gen 1 5Gbps standard. In the storage department, the B550 Tomahawk includes 6 SATA 3 ports right here, and these are accompanied by 2 M2 slots, with the top slot supporting the latest PCIe 4.0 X4 standard and the bottom slot supporting the previous gen PCIe 3.0 X4 standard. Moving over to the expansion slots, this board comes with a PCIe 4.0 X16 slot with the steel armor feature that supposedly helps users along with heavy graphics cards, a full-length PCIe 3.0 slot running at X4 speed right here, and 2 PCIe 3.0 X1 slots. Now, owing to the way that MSI has configured the board, the PCIe 3.0 X4 slot and the uppermost PCIe 3.0 X1 slot share bandwidth with the lower M2 connection. Now what this means is that, for instance, when the X1 slot is used, the M2 connection at the bottom drops to PCIe 3.0 X2 speeds, and the full-length PCIe 3.0 slot becomes unusable. Not exactly the most ideal setup, so do bear this in mind, especially if you're intending to install multiple peripherals on this board. In the audio and Ethernet departments, the B550 Tomahawk's audio is powered by the ALC1200 audio codec from ALKtech, which is a higher-end part compared to the 800 series chips that are more commonly found on lower-end boards. For Ethernet connectivity, the board comes with two Ethernet ports, with one port supporting the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet standard courtesy of ALKtech's RTL8125B controller, located right here, and the other port supporting standard gigabit Ethernet powered by ALKtech's very run-of-the-mill RTL8111H controller. I'd say that having dual LAN ports is definitely a nice touch to have on a board at this price point. For you folks out there who intend to kit out your rig with fans aplenty, the Tomahawk's got you covered. The board comes with a whopping 8 fan connectors, with 5 connectors located in the upper half of the board, with one right here, over here, here, and over there, and the remaining 3 in the lower half of the board, with one right there, here, and over here. In terms of RGB connectivity, it comes with 4 RGB connectors, with 2 being a standard 12V connectors right here and over here, and the remaining 2 being addressable RGB headers located right here and over here. Directing our attention to the I/O ports of the board, I like how MSI has gone with an integrated I/O shield design that integrates seamlessly with the VRM heatsink. In terms of connectivity, you have a legacy PS2 port, 2 USB 2.0 ports, a display port, and of course a HDMI connector, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port in red, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, your dual LAN ports right here, and of course your standard audio jack connectors. This board also does come with a flash BIOS button, which allows you to update the BIOS without having to install a processor and RAM. Now, while we're on the topic of I/O ports, I must point out that the HDMI port does not support the 4K60 standard. I mean, seriously, even the lower end AM4 boards that I've reviewed so far have support for HDMI 2.0. Guess this is something for you folks to note, especially if you're intending to use onboard graphics with a 4K60 capable display. So here you have it, the MSI MAG B550 Tomahawk. At around $180 the Tomahawk seems to offer a good mix of features at that price point, though it does have certain downsides such as the questionable PCIe lane configuration and the lack of HDMI 2.0 support. Another thing I would have loved to see on this board would be the inclusion of built-in Wi-Fi, but I suppose there's only so much one can do within a certain budget. With that, thank you so much for watching, do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys around soon.